jumping on.
No problem. I don't know if Andy's on right now, and I don't know if Scott's on yet.
I'm cheating. Oh shit. Anyway, I'm
Oh,
cheating and
Andy.
I'm using D's account because I have to get in the car and finish the call on my phone at 10. I gotta bail because I gotta meet Jake this morning. So
Oh boy. Andy, is this the Scout there, the new link? Is that for everybody to be able to get on through the website? Is it already on, or is that
it's
just something?
already updated on the website.
Awesome.
It's I just posted it in the actual event on Facebook, and I'm just looking to see if it's in the Facebook group yet. I don't think it is. Make sure that that gets updated too.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they registered for the meeting, they got the new link. So.
All right. Perfect.
Yeah.
You have to get used to that, which actually be much easier than what it was before, I would assume. Or let me ask you a question. Do they have to register to get on?
They can go to the Facebook and find it instantly. The registration is where the link is, but I wonder if I can change the homepage. Might be able to update the homepage button so they can just click and join. I think that's still there. I don't know. Kayla's been running that, so
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure if.
As long as we don't get hacked again.
I think the problem was that we were putting it out in public like days before the meeting happened.
Yeah.
And that's why it got, because they were just looking for, you know, links on like Meetup and
I think
Facebook
the last time I looked, I think it got over 400,000 hits.
I'm not surprised.
We're all close to 500,000 hits.
Amazing how much being an asshole will get you views. Like I'm all for being an asshole personally, but you know,
I know.
Got to be the right kind of asshole. All right, let's see here.
I agree. Scott's supposed to be getting on this morning. I know he's in Key West.
Yeah, I talked to him on the phone yesterday for a bit. Was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. I don't know. This whole week is already blending into a big mess. Kid going back to school yesterday, and yeah.
Well, instead of wiping sleepies out of his eyes, he's going to be wiping sand. So, I don't feel sorry for him.
No, me neither. Me neither.
Is that Scott?
I don't think so.
I thought I heard
Scott. Hop on yet.
Yeah.
Let me double check I'm going to double check the Meetup group too. I don't even know if it's.
Might try using the old link to get in, and then they're going to have problems.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, yeah.
Change, man. Change. Everybody has a few minutes of reset time when they start the new year, I guess.
I know. I meant it. I saw, just so everybody knows, Andy emailed me at 3 something this morning? You were awake at what, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock this morning?
Too early, yeah.
And all of a sudden I look and I see there's an email from Andy. It was like 3:27 or something in the morning. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God.
Ouch.
Oh man. Andy's dedicated.
Yeah, when you wake up, you wake up. You just grind through your work. You know how it is.
Now, when you do some of your calls with people in Australia, do you have to wake up at that time? Because I know.
No, they're behind. They're a day ahead of us. So like their Thursday is Friday. So if I get on a call with them at 7 p.m., it's actually 9 a.m. for them.
Wow.
So yeah, it's kind of convenient actually.
That's
I don't like doing calls at 7 p.m. because by that point in the day, my brain is fried, but I have no choice. So
I know people who'd be buying and selling houses to people in Australia, and they would end up having to do the call at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, our time, which is 2 or 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon
for them. Yep.
And they had no choice; they had to do it.
Yeah, most of my clients were banks, so 9 o'clock a.m. Zoom meetings were the order of the day.
Lucky.
Good. Yep. Let's see here. Where am I going? Landing page. sidebar. There we go. All right, so that's going to get changed. So there'll be a one-click button on the homepage right now.
Yeah. I'm wondering, people have already tried.
Possible.
Yeah, oh yeah. They're like, how come the link doesn't work?
Yep.
And link is as technical as I get.
That is the truth. I know
Yes,
how much you
is.
love computers.
I hate them. I hate them. Thank God for my assistant.
I just had to upgrade my stuff on my computer so I could do the video editing crap because I moved to 4K on the podcast and like, all right, I got to double my RAM. So I went to 64 gigs. It's like, all right, let's do this.
I tell people, become successful enough where you can hire people to do what you absolutely hate to do and but must do.
That's the truth. Luckily, computer stuff is a hobby and it's expensive, but it's fun. If I only had time to actually do something like play games, it'd be great. But the option to be able to play games is nice, I guess. Having the time is a different matter.
Yes. Yeah. Well, let me tell you something. We appreciate everything you do for us. Because if it wasn't for you, this call would not be happening.
Whatever.
How are we doing on time here? It's 8:56, not bad.
Yeah, we still got 4 or 5 minutes before
Hey, Joe.
everything kicks off.
Who's that?
It's Omar.
Owen, how are you?
Good, been a while.
Man, oh man. Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year.
Oh yeah, Happy New Year.
Owen, did you try getting on through the website earlier and you couldn't get on, or did you just try and you got on?
I got on, yeah, I didn't have any problem.
But you just tried within the last minute or two?
Yeah.
Okay.
About 5 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, so we don't know if anyone. All right. At least that way we know what's going on.
Yeah.
They're changing the link, so there's always an issue.
It's updated on the website now, and it's on both Facebook things, so people should be able to find it pretty quick.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing how you can do that, Andy.
Just from doing it too many times.
I'd have to get a letter stamp and mail it out. There's no way. Hopefully Scott got your email. Because
he probably did.
He may be trying to get on. I responded. Let me let him know here real quick.
Tell him to take me out of spam.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh my God. Check your email for new link. I texted him just a little bit ago. We'll see here.
All right.
Man.
All right. The meetup is updated. They have to go to the website, but people will figure it out if they want to be here. First of the year, when you change links and do all that kind of stuff, everybody has to.
I know. I hear it. I try getting on.
Yep.
I go, I know. Sorry. I know. Let me see if he's over here responding. Kick it off here in a minute or two. Maybe other people be joining.
What's today's topic?
Well, Scott wanted to talk about, and you actually want to go over with a few people, basically. Everybody the first year always has goals. They have their thing that they want to do, but it's more than just talking about goals. We want to be able to figure out what the heck people got to do and to be able to get what they want done. Everybody's just like, I want to do this. I want to do that. You know, we're tired of hearing about people want to do. What are you actually gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
Actionable steps.
Darn right. That and then some. So
Oh, that's perfect because I'm working on that because I set some goals for this year. I wrote some actionable steps, but I want to really break it down into something that I can do every day because I'm still trying to figure that to like simplify it a little bit more.
Chris, for you, that's actually fantastic. And because a lot of the people, we're gonna go over this, Scott was talking about this.
Scott put Key West in his phone number and Key West in his title for his Zoom meeting. What the heck, Scott?
He's on.
He is. He just logged in.
On.
Oh,
Good morning, everybody.
Are you on by phone?
Do you have to do your polar plunge first? Is that what this is? You had to get in your ice bath first
That was
thing this
it.
morning?
Yeah, it was chilly. Yeah, it's a chilly 72 degrees here today.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. I'm a little jelly. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Scott, are you calling in by phone or are you on computer?
I'm on my computer.
Oh, okay. All right. The screen's still there. You are.
Nice. Using that old video background I used to use until I gave up on
That's
that.
probably real.
That's real, yeah.
Yeah.
It could be real if I stepped outside. Yeah.
Scott is actually in Key West. That's the crazy thing about this. Scott spent New Year's Eve in Key West.
We got somebody in the chat looking for some help evaluating a deal too.
Awesome. We can definitely do that too. We'll definitely do that. Scott, Andy just changed the link to get on a few minutes ago, so we may have some latecomers. Who knows? So
it's the one that's been up there, but people, it's different than last year's link. So if they're trying to use the old calendar invite, it's not going to work.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'll actually check online and see if I can close those rooms if they exist. I don't know.
It's all right. The important people are on.
Damn right.
You, Scott, all the other people are on here.
Where's my? There it is.
Let's see. I'm just gonna grab my binder.
Text messages.
Oh no, not yet. Nah, I just got up. Come on now.
Have your butler check your text messages for you, Scott. Come on.
Oh boy, here we go.
What's going on?
Oh yeah, Joe's up. I got 9 messages.
Oh man. Your butler is slipping over there.
Hey Gabe.
Good morning.
Okay.
You find the link okay there, Mr. Hestios?
Yeah, I had to go to the FRIA website. I couldn't get in for my email. I don't know why, but
Link changed. You gotta update it for 2024.
Oh, thanks for letting us know. Just kidding.
Zing.
We kind of figured that would happen this morning.
Yeah, we were.
Joe, I'm like, Joe, what'd you do? Sabotage the system?
Damn right.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab my notebook. The notes we took yesterday, Joe. So
All right.
I'll be 1 second.
Oh man. How's everybody else doing this morning?
Good.
Doing well.
I have no complaints. Need more coffee. Other than that,
Oh man. Holy smokes.
if you're looking for Chris, if you're looking for a quick to-do list book, if you haven't read that yet,
Measurable matters. Yeah, because like I don't know, I sit here and I do stuff and then I write like, well, like, I have what I'm gonna do today, and then I'm like, okay, I didn't get this done, so I go Tuesday, or I guess Friday or whatever, and just write it and move it.
Yeah, this is a good one. It's just a real rough. Like it's not. It's pretty old. I've had this for probably 10, 15 years now, I think.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking
I guess it
for
came
more
out in
books to
2018,
read.
so not that long ago.
One of my goals is to read a book a month, so that'll be one of them this year then.
Yeah, I try to grind through one every couple of weeks right now, but
I'm gonna start Think and Grow Rich today, probably.
Nice. It's a
great book. Yeah.
That's a good one.
No. All right, we're gonna kick this thing off real quick while Scott gets his notebook because it's 9:05, so we want to get started over
Yep.
here. I know there's gonna
All
be
right,
some
I got it.
people. Oh, perfect. There's gonna be other people joining in here
Okay.
shortly. You want me
All
to
right. Yeah, thanks everybody for joining. We'll go ahead and get this started. Welcome to 2024. It's like only 360 days until it's 2025. So it's one way to look at it. We're going to talk a little bit today about okay, we're the DealMasters. We're part of FRIA, Freedom First Real Estate Investor Association, the Rochester branch, and we're the Deal Makers branch. We talk about other ways to make money in real estate other than being a landlord. If you want to be a landlord, which some of you are, and there's nothing wrong with that. I was a landlord for a lot of years. There is another group that meets, and that's on the FRIA website. They meet the alternative Thursday. And I'll disclaimer, we don't financial advice. We give on here are based on our circumstances and things that we've done. You really should, before you act on something, you really should seek the advice of a professional, an attorney, a CPA, some sort of accountant, title company. But we kind of worked on a layout of what we're going to talk about in 2024. Every month we have a subject, which would be great. And I'll go through that a little bit. But today we're going to talk about, let's talk about goals. What you're planning on doing in 2024. I know some people have some goals they wouldn't mind sharing, which would be great. And if Earl was on this call, he committed last month to having a vision plan written. And I don't think he showed it to anybody at the holiday party. He said he would, so maybe he just got busy. So if you see Earl out there, ask him about his vision. He said he'd do it. So he committed to doing that. So we all have to hold him accountable for that. But then I see that somebody has a deal they want to look over. We certainly could take a little time out to do that. I'm sure that'd be beneficial to everybody. These calls are on the first Thursday of every month. The Zoom calls, yeah, we know it's 9 o'clock in the morning. 8:45 is when you're supposed to be on. But we usually run 9 to 10:30. And we usually talk about a topic, and then if there's time, we'll do questions and answers. The topics for 2024, you guys are gonna be the first ones to hear this. Next month, in the month of February, we're gonna talk about negotiation. Big topic, a lot of people have been wanting to talk about. We talk about how to negotiate, how some people negotiate. The biggest thing is on negotiation, form to your personality. Don't try to be somebody else when you're negotiating with a seller. Make it your personality. That's the biggest thing. You just have to be genuine, and you really have to be doing kind of what's in the best interest of the person you're talking to. If they benefit, you're going to benefit. There's a saying that goes, Zig Ziglar said it, if you help enough other people get what they want, you'll get what you want. Okay, and I found that to be true. Over the years, that's why Joe and I continue to do this. It's kind of our give back, but people helped us to succeed, and now we're doing the same for other people. So in the month of March, we're going to talk about living life on vacation. Last month, Steve Cavanaugh came on and talked a little bit about that and said that he'd be willing to come back and talk to us about that. What that means is like working on your business instead of in your business, being able to travel and still do the work, okay, still generate income and all that. That's taught me how to do that. He's one of my coaches. As you know, we travel in an RV full time across the country, but I still operate a business. I had a business in 2023. In 2022, it did very well. 2023, it did even better. In 2024, I know it's going to be doing even better. And I'm still traveling all the time. That's because of the topics that I've learned from Steve. Okay, and then in the month of April, we're going to talk about relationship capital. What that is networking, how to treat other people right, how to network your way into a room, how to walk into a room and see who the people are that you should be talking to and how to approach them. I'm going to see if I can get my good friend Alex Pardo to come on and talk about that. He's down in Miami. He's very successful, he runs a podcast, and it's the Flip Empire podcast. He used to do a lot of flips. He did a lot of wholesales, and now he does a lot of coaching. So, and then speaking of flipping, in the month of May, we're going to talk about flipping houses. Flip This House is actually the title of it. And then in June, we're going to talk about commercial properties. On all these Zooms, we're trying to find somebody who's involved in it, who lives outside Rochester, so we get a little different perspective of it. So on the morning Zooms, we're going to try to do that. And then in the evening meetings on the third Thursday, we'll be live at Ferrari's Pizza, except for the month of July. I'll explain that in a minute. Then we'll have a local person come in and talk. It could be Joe, it could be Gabriel, it could be Andy, it could be Barrington. I see Barrington's on here. We might get him up on stage. The month of July, first Thursday of the month of July is July 4th. We will not be having a meeting. But what we're going to do is we're going to talk about Ask the Expert, or as Joe likes to refer to it, Ask the Doers. People in the group who are doing things, making things happen. We're going to have a board of different people up there. We're hoping to have somebody from commercial, maybe a lender, somebody who does wholesaling, which will probably be Joe, and various other topics. So if there's topics you'd like to see, let us know. We'll see if we can get an expert up on the panel about that. Maybe even like Airbnbs. I know there's been a big shift in Airbnbs. I don't know if you've heard the news, but there's some changes to short-term rentals that you need to be aware of. As an investor, you need to be aware of these things. And I should have brought this up last night. We were going to buy a piece of property in Florida that has boat and RV storage on it. We're going to pay $700,000 for this piece of property. We went down there, looked at the property while we're in due diligence, met with zoning, found out that the property has lost its special use permit to do boat and RV storage. It's no longer allowed to do boat and RV storage. That happened in November. We're supposed to close in December on this property. The seller kind of wasn't fully honest with us on that. He failed to mention that he lost a special use permit. So if we would have bought that property without checking with zoning first, we would have been out of luck. We would have been in a world of hurt on that thing. So he actually said that he's going to take care of it. He said it's a misunderstanding with zoning. I said, great, work it out with zoning. If you get that special use permit in a permanent basis, we do boat and RV storage, we still will gladly pay you that price for the property. So when you're looking at properties, always make sure it's zoned right. Always make sure you can do what you think you're going to do with the properties. And I say that because of short-term rentals. I heard in Rochester there's a shift. Then in August, we're going to talk about creative financing. Been doing a lot of deals with seller financing lately. Sellers understand it. They like, they don't want to pay the big tech capital gains up front. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about other ways to put deals together, structure deals. In September, we're going to talk about storage. October, wholesaling. And in November, we're going to do marketing. We're going to talk about real estate marketing, looking for deals and how to find them. And then in December of 2024, we're going to talk about setting goals again for 2025. So given all that, does anybody have any questions on the agenda for 2024? Or any input?
A lot of stuff. It'll all be up on the website, hopefully by the end of next week, I would bet. Kayla's flushing out all the details and putting the banners up and doing all that stuff on the website. So
Joe and I are just the front men. We look good. It's Kayla and Andy McQuaid who are like the people behind the curtain that are doing all the work. We sent our list to them and said, hey, make this sound exciting. So they're working on that. But in 2024, who's got goals? Raise your hand. Who's got goals for 2024? I know I do. 1, 2, 3, 4 people. Okay, 4 people. All right. 2024, you should have a goal or a vision of what you want 2024 to look like. We're gonna do a little goal exercise for everybody on here. Whether you want to do it or not, I'd like for you to do it. I got some questions I'm going to ask you. And I want you to write these down. I'll put them in the chat also. Let's see. Here it is. Did I not send it to him? Yeah, I thought I sent it to Joe. I sent him an email, I think. Yep. 1 second there, buddy.
Are you looking for the email you sent me?
Yeah. Yeah, Joe, if you want to. Here we go. I found it. Okay.
Got it. There it
Okay.
is. Oh no.
First thing. Yeah, I found it. Yep. Thanks. Identify your goals for 2024. What things would you like to accomplish personally and professionally? Okay. Goals aren't just about business. It's also what do you want to accomplish personally? Maybe you want to exercise more. Maybe you want to lose some weight. Maybe you want to read some more. Maybe you want to spend more time on vacation. If you do, where do you want to go on vacation? Okay. The more specific you get with your goals in 2024, the more likely you are to hit those goals. Okay. So first question is, what are your goals for 2024? Okay. Next question. I want you to look inward. Look in on yourself. This is just between you and you. What's the one habit, pattern, or belief that may slow you down or prevent your success in 2024? What's maybe the one thing that is a limiting factor that might hold you back from making your goal in 2024? What thing personally is going on that might not let you accomplish your goal in 2024? Is it money? Joe and I have often said, if you find the deal, you'll find the money. Okay. You have to be willing to share. But if you find a deal, you'll find the money. So look inward, look at yourself. What things are limiting you? What habit or pattern are you doing that might limit or prevent your success? The last thing is, what will help you maintain momentum and consistency to fulfilling your goals? What that means is, what is your goal? You want to lose weight. Okay, break it down on a daily basis. If you're going to lose weight, what do you have to do? You probably change your eating habits, maybe exercise a little bit more, maybe not drink as much alcohol. I'm not saying stop any of these things, okay? I'm just saying maybe you just need to look at, how can you lose weight in 2024? You have to look at those things, okay? So another thing might be, let's see, maintain momentum, making calls. Let's say you want to buy 12 deals this year. You have to be willing to make calls. How many calls? Okay, so we'll say one a month. How many calls do you have to do to find one deal? How many, break it down. You got one deal. How many sellers do you have to talk to find one deal? Okay, let's say it's 10. So you talk to 10 sellers to find one deal. Out of those 10 sellers, how many phone calls do you have to make on a monthly basis? It's probably at least 100. So you're gonna make 100 phone calls a month to talk to 10 sellers who are looking to sell their property to find one deal. You're gonna make 100 phone calls a month. If you break that down by day, that's pretty easy. It's what, 3-4 phone calls a day. That's all it is. If you just do it day by day instead of waiting until the last day of the month and say, oh man, I didn't make my 100 phone calls, and you're banging through 100 phone calls, you probably could do 100 phone calls in a day or two, but just break it down by day. It makes it easy. Hey, get up, bang out the phone calls for an hour. I know a guy hugely successful, Chris Butler. He does not like talking on the phone, but he knows how much money he makes when he's talking on the phone. He gets up, he bangs on the phone for about an hour a day. That's what he was doing. And from that, he wholesaled and made a tremendous amount of money in self-storage because he just had that discipline. He booked it in his calendar. He says, every day from 10 to 11, I'm going to make phone calls. And that's it. Then it's over. He hated making phone calls, but he knew every day he had to do that. Just like me, I'll admit, I hate going to the gym. I like when I'm at the gym and when I'm done with the gym, but I hate going to the gym. It's the last thing I want to do, but I know I have to do that on a consistent basis. Okay. Just break it down into little pieces. It makes it a lot easier. If you only make $100,000 in the next year, if you only had to work an hour a day, banging out phone calls, who wouldn't do it? But that's how you have to look at it. Gabe will attest. Sometimes those phone calls suck. That phone weighs 1,000 pounds. You cannot pick up the phone. You have to overcome that. It's an hour a day. And yes, you can make phone calls on Saturday. And yes, you can make phone calls on Sunday. Okay. So that's it. That helps you to set up your goals for 2024. I'll put that in the chat box so that you have it. And from a chat box, maybe Andy or Kayla can put that on the free website for everybody to have. So that's it for 2024 goals. So let's start out. Who has some goals for 2024 that they're willing to talk about? Don't be shy. And the reason I ask that is if you want to talk about your 2024 goals, you don't have to talk about all of them. If you want to talk about a couple of your 2024 goals and what might be holding you back from making those goals or what you think you need to accomplish, let's talk about it now. Because if we talk about it now, trust me, you're going to get a long ways. A lot of people on this call who will help you. So if anyone wants to talk on it about the 2024 goals, that's fine. Go ahead,
Scott,
Chris. Is that your hand? Good. We're going to do Chris and then we're going to do Gabe.
Okay, so my two I have 5 goals, but 2 for real estate are I want to try to do one. I'm gonna do one 10K deal at minimum every other month and more if I can, but I think that's doable even with the traveling that I do for work. That's gonna be heavy, maybe from March or April until September. So like home 1 week out of the month, maybe 2 weeks. And then my other goal is to buy and or BRRRR a multifamily to live in. So I'm still working on refining like the action steps, but to do a deal every month or every other month, so one thing I want to do every month is keep sending out my mailers, pay for Craigslist ad, it's like $5 a month, and then keep updating. I made a website, and then every week post something on Craigslist. I've had success with Craigslist. It does pretty well. I don't get a lot of calls from it, but when I do, they're good. And then every day I want to try to make 100 to 200 calls a day. And a lot of it's going to be just calling people that I mail and saying, hey, did you get the mailer? Or new leads and follow-ups. And then every day when I'm not home, I know that I can at least text follow-ups or check if I have any missed calls or a deal that needs to be done or something, and I can send it to like Joe or anybody. And then action steps I wrote for buying a multifamily. I know I need to save up a little money, but I have a list of multifamilies in areas that I like, so I'm gonna keep sending them letters every month. And then I also every week I want to talk to somebody about it, or post about that I want to buy a multifamily. And then just every day I can check listings.
Right.
That's what I got.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. That was great. If you've never set goals before, don't worry about it. I understand. I'm come from a sales background, so I kind of learned how to set goals over the years. Chris, I think that was perfect what you did. And if everybody noticed, kind of had a breakdown of what he was going to do to accomplish that goal, what his goals were. That's a big picture. And then he had the steps to make the goal. One thing I did notice is he said, I will try, and then said, I will. If you notice in the recording, he switches wording, which is what you should do in your goals in 2024. I will do one $10,000 deal every other month. Okay. I will own a BRRRR property he's going to live in, and he's going to house hack it. I know this. I've talked to Chris about it a few times, but he kind of had it broke down. Now, don't get me wrong. Chris travels a lot. He is part of if I got it right, the Ferrari team, right, Chris? And I think
Yeah,
Chris
one
gave
of
all
one
that.
of the Ferrari teams in IMSA.
Okay. So Chris is one of the Ferrari team members. He doesn't drive the car. Maybe he does once in a while, but he travels a lot. And he's going to do all this and travel at the same time. He's going to accomplish all this. So everybody who's hanging out in Rochester that won't be traveling like Chris is, if you can't do the at least same thing Chris is doing, you know, why not? Ask yourself why not. You don't have to answer me why not. But no, Chris, I think that was very specific. I love what you had to say. And see how I made it easy? One $10,000 deal every other month. It doesn't sound that big when you say it that way, but that's $60,000 in a year. Okay. I don't know what you could do with an extra $60,000, anybody, but that's what you have to look at too, is that vision. Okay. $60,000. What does that do for me? For some people, it takes them out of a job. All that traveling that Chris does, he probably loves parts of it or hates parts of it. I don't know if he would consider quitting his job if that's his overall vision, if that's what he wants to do. Yeah. You have these goals. Why do you want to accomplish these goals? And I know Chris knows that. Okay. But Chris, I think that was great. Joe, do you have any input on that?
Yeah, I mean, and as far as with Chris, which not a lot of people know, he just started doing real estate back in August. Okay. So I know he's done 2 deals. And if I recall correctly, he's made about half his year's pay on those 2 deals alone. And he's 19 years old. Okay. And what I do like is that he is very detailed. And the thing is that, you know, he's actually, you know, which I have a lot of respect for him for, is that he's actually being extremely proactive. And, you know, and like before you got on, Scott, he was showing how he had everything written down. Because what I used to do was, I still have it. I have a planner, which you actually use pen and paper on. Yes, I use pen and paper. But the thing is that I know I can open it up and see it like Chris does. And every single day, what I would do is I would bring over all the properties that I got in the mix, because my planner, 2 pages is 1 day. And on the right-hand side, I'd have a list of everything, all the properties. If that list got small, I got very motivated, because I'm thinking, okay, because just being able to look at that list, just like Chris does, I'm thinking, okay, how am I going to pay my bills? Because everything we do today is 30, 60, 90 days out. And I love how Chris, he brings stuff over. I know he was talking before he got on, he was talking about, you know, if he's got something written down for Tuesday, he brings it over to Friday. If he's looking at it again on Friday, just to remind him he's got to get that done. Okay. And I talk to Chris all the time. I mean, I'm excited for him. He's 19 years old and started in August. Isn't that crazy? Just imagine what he's going to do this year. I think this year he's going to take over this meeting, Scott. What do you think?
Fine by me, man. Yeah. So
Thank you.
You're 19, Chris?
I'm 21 actually.
Oh, you're 21. I'm
21.
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
But
no, he probably just turned 21. He probably just barely is legal to drink if you think about it that way. So he's 21 years old. He's doing all this. I don't know if anybody in this group knows Josh Rosenberg. Josh Rosenberg is part of FRIA. He actually spoke at the 30 and under meeting. He started investing in real estate in Rochester. He came up from Long Island, so he lived down there. Came up here, he drives a tanker that was in Louisiana. He drive an oil tanker that was 3 football fields long. While he was doing that, he built his real estate business. He started all that when he was 19. Colleen Baracci, who's a realtor everybody knows in this group, took him out for lunch once. And, she asked him, hey, would you like a drink? He says, I'm not old enough to drink. He was 20 at the time. So 20 years old. He had a number of houses at 20 years old. Okay. So anybody who says they're too young to do this business, no, I don't think so. I have a 12-year-old who has a vested interest in one of my self-storage properties. So this is a 12-year-old invests in real estate already. Okay. So Yeah, Chris, thanks for sharing that. Joe, did you have anything else to add to that?
No, I'm just impressed by him.
Does anybody else here have any questions or input for Chris? You heard what his goals were. Do you have any questions for him? Okay. Reason nobody wants to ask a question because they don't want to be asked questions. So well, cool, Chris. Thanks a lot for sharing. I don't know about everybody else, but I wrote that down, but I do remember it from a conversation that we had that that's what you wanted to accomplish. I think that's awesome. And I really appreciate you sharing it. And I think other people do too, because they've seen how simple you made it. It's not that tough. One $10,000 deal every other month, that should be achievable. Okay. So great job.
Thank
All
you.
right, my good buddy Gabriel. Gabriel, I know you wrote down some goals and we've talked about them a little bit, but I'd like for you to share your goals. And you want to see somebody get fired up, watch this. Here we go.
Okay. Well, thanks guys for allowing me to share my goals. But let's start with, I'm going to be completely transparent and vulnerable with you guys to start. Last year, this past year, I lost some deals that was going to make my year. They fell through for one reason or another. And it brought my finances down to a halt. And as a result, or as a matter of consequence, I had to get a part-time job at Walmart. And it sucks. I'll just be blunt with you. I freaking hate every day of it. And I had to pick up more hours, blah, blah, blah. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I got to get out of this shithole. Sorry, guys, but it's really bad. So I thought to myself, I'm like, okay, what do I got to do to get out of here? So I'm like, all right, what I did, the first thing I did was I need to make a number. And I'm like, it was $100,000 at first, but now it's because I talked to my wife. I need to make by June 30th, $125,000 in wholesale fees. I had to adjust my goals. So what I did was, okay, first thing I did was I went to my calendar and I highlighted and circled it in orange, June 30th. And I remember that day every day. So I remember when I look at my calendar. So I said to myself, okay, how do I do this? How am I going to make $125,000? I'm like, okay, the first thing I did was I looked at my CRM and I said, how many calls did I make last year? And how many calls am I going to make this year? So I did, so I can adjust. So I'll give you January, for example. Last January, I made 310 calls. I'm like, okay, all right. So what do I want to do this January? I'm like, I want to make 400 calls. Okay, let's up it. So what I did was I went into my CRM and I looked at some old leads because I developed about 2,300 contacts over the years. And I did what I call resurrection. And a lot of my leads from 21 and 22 that said no or whatever, I'm like, well, guess what? You're on my hit list again. So I updated my CRM and I'm like, okay, so in order to make 400 calls, that's 100 calls a week. And I'm like, between Christmas and New Year's, though, what I did was I updated my CRM. I'm like, okay, by the time I get up in the morning to go to work, how many leads do I have to update per day, per hour? I broke it down to science. So it was like 34 leads a day, and that's 7 leads an hour to update. And I updated them all. I actually surpassed my goal. I actually had 465 total leads to call this month. I made 47 so far. And so I have 418 more. So, and I'm also midway through February, by the way. It's taking me a little bit of time now because of work and what have you, but I busted my butt to make sure I had those leads in place. And consequently, I found some new leads too. I'm like, and I'm looking at Google Maps. I'm like, I've never seen that one before. I'm like, well, guess what? Grab it. So what happened was, though, already this week, I had 2 yesterday. One person who has 2 locations and wants to sell in April. So I got to call him in April. And I got a lady in Mississippi who I've been tracking for a while, and she wants to sell, but she's having some issues with payments of customers and whatever. I'm like, okay, I'll call you next month. So because she's like, leave me alone for now, kind of thing. And she's like, well, And so she says, I got your name and number. I'm like, yeah, I got your number too. I'll call you next month. Don't worry, sweetheart. So, you know, but the thing is though, is in order to make those deals, I said to myself, what else do I have to do? And in addition to making the calls and stuff, I'm like, well, I want to get better as well, and building rapport and making relationships and negotiating. So I took it upon myself to immerse myself into some teachings on YouTube University of Chris Voss on negotiation training. I also actually reached out and took 2 classes that he has taught, and how to build better rapport, how to negotiate better, and I'm trying to implement those systems and to talking to people better. Another thing I've done though, I've also created my own vision, and I can't see the board behind me, but I have like my whiteboard, and I wrote down all these numbers because I don't know, I just mathematically kind of look at like, okay, here's what I did last year, here's what I got to do this year. I have all grouped behind me. So every day I walk into this office in my house, I'm like, okay, I know what I got to do today. That's there. But my CRM is my bread and butter. So I look at my day, I'm like, this is how I'm going to call, and I don't care how long it takes. I have a limited amount of time before I go to work. If I work that day, I'm like, that's how many I got to call. And some days you're not going to make all the calls because, some people like to talk for a half hour, and that's how you build a relationship. And that's fine. That's fine. But it's as many as it takes to get through that day to reach that goal per day. So I reached my goal every day so far this year. Today I'm going to make 34 calls, so I hope I can get through all those calls. But the other thing I did, going back to my vision though, is I put on my phone, I don't know if you guys can see, but it's on my phone of June 30th, 2024, 125,000. So every time I look at my phone, that's what I want to do. 2 things. 1, I look at my phone. 2, walking into that stupid store, Walmart, just reminds me every day that I got to get the hell out of there as soon as possible so I can say to my boss, my 2-week notice, sayonara, I'll never be back. So this is not my motivation, by the way. Motivation is I hate to say, for lack of a better term, it doesn't last. So you need a reminder every day of a reminder what keeps you going, and that discipline. So I've done things to self-discipline myself to get up in the morning, tackle it, and remember my why. My strongest why right now is not just to get out of there, but I think back of what I was 2 years ago. I'm going to tell you a quick story. I remember this quick story is 2 years ago. It was summertime or something like that. And it was a Saturday morning. And it happened to be it was summertime or something like that. And I think Scott and I were working on a deal. And we happened to be talking in the morning, actually. And he's like, so what are you going to do today? I'm like, well, I got to help my wife. She wants to get some yard work done with her. And Scott knows how much I love yard work. And so he's like, oh, that sucks. I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, let me get this done. I'll call you back. And he's like, okay. So, I got it done the line. It's like, so did you get done? I'm like, yeah. But the cool thing was, though, is that I got it done and I got to go golfing. I'm like, I'm going golfing. It was exciting to me, though, because it's a small thing to me, though. I know you guys want to be in the beach and this and that, but what matters to me, okay? And I want that freedom back to say, to say to myself in a Saturday morning, instead of working at Walmart, I can say to myself, it's a beautiful morning. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to go golfing today, or I'm going to go to my mom's today. I don't have that anymore. I want that back. Okay. And it matters to me. I don't know what matters to everybody else, but it's what matters to me personally. And I want that freedom back. And I have that freedom. So I'm going to do whatever it takes to get that freedom back. Even though I'm not making that much money, it's $125,000. It's a small amount, but it matters to me. And what that will allow me to do is, once I have that set, is allow me to look at my vision, my 5-year vision, and work on my vision by acquiring other storage facilities, because I had those finances in place, and like, okay, now I can become an equity partner here. I can buy one there, and I can also wholesale it as well. So I can put all those in the mix and develop my vision as I go along. Now, it's a short-term goal, but it's to a long-term vision. And what I've learned to do is I've learned to break down my goal step by step by step, mathematically, if you will, to see what it takes to get to that place. And if you allow me, you know, that it just allows me to, you know, to see what it takes to get there. And I'm like, okay, this is what I got to do. This is what I got to do. And I plan it out to a science, because I have to be specific to do what it takes to get to that place. Now, will I get to that place? You know, will things happen? Sure, that's life. But we have to figure out and make adjustments. But the overarching theme is to get out of that store so I can have my freedom back. And that's what I want. And that's what I'm here to tell you guys today. And I have it down, like I said, I have it down to science. So yeah, it's firing me up every day. I got to get the heck out of there. I don't want to say the F, but you know what I mean. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
That's a great story. That's a great story, Gabe. And by the way, we appreciate you opening up to us, because I know we had this conversation before.
Yeah, you're welcome. Welcome.
You know,
It means a lot to me. It means the world to me.
And I know Scott's probably gonna wanna. I know you and Scott definitely work together a lot, so I know he's got more insight into this than I do. I do want to say one thing, and I love how you're detailed with everything, and how you have that date. And what, for me, whenever I have a goal, like for you as June 25th,
30th.
June 30th, sorry, June 30th. So whatever we do today is 30, 60, 90 days out. If I'm not telling you, for me, the way I do things is, okay, if I know it's June 30th, I give myself to the end of March, which means I have 90 days to get 2 deals in the mix, at least 2. And here's the deal. I don't go for 2, because if you go for 2, that means you have to be 100% perfect. Okay, so let's just say you're making 60,000 on each one. So mentally, in my mind, I would go for 4 to 5. Even if you get 5, and let's just say you fail, you only quote unquote fail, which 3 isn't really failing, it'll still get you to your goal. So don't make your minimums your maximums. You got to go, this is where you make your maximums your minimums in this case.
Okay.
That's my thought process. I'm not trying to put more pressure on you. Okay. But if it was me, I would be thinking March 31st, not June 30th.
Okay.
I don't know, Scott, I'm sure Scott has more insight on in this than I do.
I have some additional insight, not more insight, but if you guys notice and you're really listening, you could hear how passionate Gabe was about. That's why I really want to speak, because man, he fired a ton a little bit. When you get talking with him, he really gets fired up about the team. This is what he's doing. And he's gonna accomplish it. I know for sure he's going to. Mind you, Gabe, what was it? Years ago, you were running on. Was it about 3 years ago?
3 years ago.
About 3 years ago, you had a restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I closed in 2020. Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you know anything about restaurant owners. Stand up. Those were 70, 800.
Scott, your connection is pretty bad right now. You're breaking up something fierce. We can barely understand.
Video.
Scott, can you hear us?
Scott, your internet is potato.
Scott, we
potato internet right now. We can't understand anything you're saying.
We may have lost. I think
he actually dropped.
Yeah, you never know. Who knows? A palm tree may have blocked the signal. Who knows? So yeah, so and to reiterate, I guess what Scott was talking about is 3 years ago, Gabe, you owned a restaurant and you were putting in a ton of hours, right?
Yeah.
So even though, and when you work at a restaurant, you're there, you worry about it, you're like 8 to faint. And then you got a taste of what it's not having to do that. And I remember Gabe and we had a conversation where I said, and when he told me he had to go back to work, and he goes, I hate it. I said, good. I want you to be as uncomfortable as possible. I want you to hate it to the point, and I knew he would. That's exactly what's happening. And I go, I don't want you to get pissed off. I want you to use that and focus that and drive you to whatever the heck it is you want to get done. Because I went through the exact same thing times 10 to what Gabe went through. So I felt his pain beyond belief. I was having sympathy pains. Let me tell you. You're in PTSD, my friend. Yeah, we had some really good conversations, and Gabe, and Gabe's somebody that I know he'll get it done. And now it's just a question of focusing on and breaking, and you did a great job of breaking everything down. I love the way you do that. I mean, you got it broken down to calls per hour per day. And the crazy thing about it, we had this conversation, Gabe, because I went through it. So when the busier you are, the more hyper focused you're going to be to get out of whatever situation you're in. Yes. And how hyper focused have you been getting now? Extremely, like they're unwavering. Let's put you've noticed the difference, haven't you? Huge difference. When I wake up in the mornings, nothing besides letting my dog out that's going to get in my way. By the way, if Scott's on, he could. I don't know if Scott's back on yet or not. But,
he's back, but I don't know if his potato internet is allowing him to hear us.
You call it my potato internet?
There you go.
I did.
See, if I was stuck in Rochester where it snows and I had a stable connection, like I could plug my computer in.
Nobody wants you to be where it's cold. We don't want to be here. Come on.
Yeah. So feel my pain. I don't have stable internet. But anyways, okay. I should be good now. Let me know if I fade out. But I'm gonna shut my video off. One thing with Gabe, and tell me if I drop off, Andy. You can interrupt me. You could tell how passionate he was about this. I don't know if you noticed, he actually toned it down. I know how fired up he is about this. And the fact that he has it broke down the way he does is great. And he has his vision written. Every day he sees that when he goes into the office. Okay. He sees that every day. And this is something Steve Kavanaugh talked about last month. I don't know if everybody was on or not, but if you weren't on, something he talks about is you want to have a vision up there and you want to see what that vision is. Okay. You can have goals, but why are you getting to that? And you can see Gabe has goals, and his big picture goal is to make a certain amount this year and to leave that job at Walmart. Now, mind you, 3 years ago, give or take, Gabe owned a restaurant. I used to sell, I worked at Sam's Club. I sold memberships to restaurant owners. I met a lot of restaurant owners. Every restaurant owner I know, most of them work 70, 80, 90, 100 hours a week. I have people who, for lack of a better term, piss and moan to me because they work 40 hours a week, and when they get home from work, they're tired. You know what? I'm not sorry, okay? Because there's guys out there hustling, doing this, like the restaurant owners working 100 hours a week, okay? Now, Gabe knows he does not want to go back to that, okay? And when he was working at the restaurant, he was taking care of customers. He was the cook. He was cleaning the bathrooms, okay? All in the same day. He was outside weed whacking, okay? He's outside shoveling the sidewalk every day, okay? Gabe left that, and now he's doing real estate. So mind you, Gabe doesn't have a big background, just like Chris Wise and myself and Joe. We don't have a background in real estate. We didn't grow up in real estate. We learned it and we did it. Okay. And that's what you have to do. Okay. You have to have a vision or a goal big enough that you can look at every day and it gets you up and gets you excited to get up and do something. So Like I said, I have good friends, you know, they work 40 hours a week. When they work hard. But they tell me at the end of the day, they're so tired that they can't do an extra thing at all. Okay. You make a living working from 8 to 5. Working 40 hours a week, you make a living. You cover your bills and stuff like that. It's after 5 o'clock and before 8 o'clock what you do that helps makes your life. Okay, somebody told me that once and it finally made sense to me. I'm covering the bills 8 to 5, but long term, what I'm doing after 5, that's what made my life. And right now, I'm really blessed. I'm really happy. I'm really excited that I have the life that I do. Okay, I'm not nobody special. I don't have a 4-year degree from college. I did go to college for 2 years. Spent 6 years in the Air Force. That's it. I'm nobody different than anybody else on this call. Neither's Joe. I know where Joe came from. Joe and I learned real estate in the basement at a realtor's office, you know, a number of years ago. And some other very successful people came out of that group. Scott Byrne, you may or may not know his name. Brendan Bascom, Tommy Ellis. You know, the list goes. There's a few people that were in that basement, and I'm going to say 75% of those, because we all helped each other, succeeded, did very well in real estate. So all that just to say, you know, hey, it's going to suck. You're going to have to do it. Okay. Just like Gabe, he has to go to Walmart. He has to work every day to cover the bills. And I admire him for doing that. Joe and I went through exactly the same thing. Okay. We did what we had to do to pay the bills. But then afterwards, when we were off the W-2 clock, he, we just did it. You know, we didn't even think about it. It's just like, you know, like, how do you work till 5 o'clock and then you go work on a house and flip, you know, till midnight and then get up and do it again? I just do it. You know, that's all I did. And it was people like Joe who drove me to do that. So I hope that helps. But Gabe, thank you very much for sharing. Does anybody else have any other input or advice for Gabe on that?
Gabe's got me like more motivated. Like, well, I could tell, like you said, the passion, and he's fired up. So that's got me motivated for sure.
Makes me feel lazy.
You know what I tell people is, after you get done working, that's when you make your maximum, your minimum. And that's just my mentality. After work, make your maximum, your minimum. And once you understand that, everything will start coming into play. Things will start falling into place.
Excellent. Anybody else have any goals they want to talk about or go over, or any vision things that you want to talk about?
I'll start doing another. Whoop, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'll commit to going back to doing regular podcast episodes again, because I took a couple months off to upgrade hardware and stuff, and it was really nice not actually having to record and edit 2 podcasts a week. So I've still been recording with guests. So if I do a guest recording, I might only do 1 for the week, as opposed to doing like 3 a week that I was doing for a while. So I'll get back on the bandwagon of actually producing content, because, yeah, it's all right.
That's good. Who else?
I was going to ask, but I got 5 minutes left. I got to leave for a meeting. So my boss put me into a meeting while we were on this call. Hence the reason why I'm even in this meeting. So I don't have to do this kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
I won't get started.
Okay. All right.
Next one.
And yeah, Dan, thanks for joining. Were you the one who had a deal, or was it somebody else who had a deal?
I think it was
Go
Chikai.
over.
I think it was who?
Chikai.
Oh,
I think that's what it's in the text above.
Yeah, I had a deal
Yeah.
that I'm working a lead that I'm working on actually.
Yeah.
Over
We'll
in
circle back
the
around to that. I just wanted to make sure that wasn't Dan. And Dan, I seen that it is Dan, right? I want to make sure Dan Callahan.
Oh no,
I want to
Dennis.
make
Sorry, Dennis Callahan. Sorry.
Dennis. Okay, sorry, Dennis.
No problem.
Yeah. But yeah, you see where you can find the recording. Yeah, definitely circle back around and if you want to call somebody and talk about your goals or whatever, that's great. Sounds like one of your goals might be for you to control your calendar, not your boss. So
Oh, that's one of, yeah. And the other one is, I've always kind of been a standoff kind of person. So getting more involved in these networking things and approaching people, it's never been my strong suit. So I think, unless I'm super confident about it, like at work, I do sales. So I'm really confident about what I'm talking about. But when my confidence is a little lower, and even though I own, I own 10 properties and I only do college students and I've been through this, but I just haven't really ever networked and kind of me and my brother kind of stay in our own pocket and do our own little thing, but I've never ventured out. So I think that's the big thing for me. I want to be able to overcome and be able to, like you said, like Joe was saying, being able to get on the phone and just call people and know what to say and how to say it and feel confident and that's the kind of stuff I want to. That's my biggest goal for this year.
cool. Thanks for sharing.
No problem.
And yeah, a good friend of ours, Mike Wagner, he actually did a storage presentation a few months back. He always said 1 is halfway to 10 because people have a hard time getting to 1. But once you get to 1, you're like, it wasn't really that hard. And I'm sure Dennis can attest to buying that first property.
I was terrified.
It was a struggle. There you go. But now you're up to 10, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And cool. I did student housing for a while in Brockport.
Oh yeah.
Loved it. Made a ton of money at it. It was awesome.
It-
But
It's lucrative, but a lot of turnover and trying to get everything situated within a few days. 10 properties at, I got kids leaving in July 31st and got to have it ready by August 4th. By the next kid, it becomes rough. So I'm trying to get away. Not as, I don't, believe me, if they come around, I got a few houses that people said, hey, if I leave, I'll take them, and I'll take them because they do well. But I don't want to pressure myself too much into trying to meet that demand and keep going this route. I just can't. It's too many properties. It gets harder.
it does.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I appreciate you sharing, Dennis. Really do.
No problem. Thank you, everybody. I got to dip out. I got this meeting in 2 minutes. So got to get on another call. So thank you, everybody. We'll see you at the next one.
thanks, Dennis.
Cool.
Take care.
So Andy McQuaid is going to do a podcast a week, right, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, I was doing like 2 a week plus an interview episode a couple times a month, and it was too much. So I was like ready to be done. The upgrading the hardware was a good excuse to stop, but people actually complained that I wasn't releasing podcasts anymore, which is kind of nice, but it's kind of like, great, now I have to bake this into my week every week. But if I could do 1 a week, it's not the end of the world.
So I know it's a lot of work for you, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The interview episodes are really a lot more work than the just me running my mouth for a half hour at the camera. Those are easy. It's the getting the scheduling done and then meeting with them and doing an hour and a half long recording, and then getting that cleaned up to a point where I think it's presentable to put it out is the real challenge, because a lot of people unfortunately have terrible webcams. They don't have external microphones. The audio's crap, and it takes a lot more computer power and a lot more time to clean up all the background noise and hissing and garbage. oh, if you're going to do podcasts, it's a worthwhile investment to just spend the $50 and get an external USB microphone that's not a piece of garbage. That's the biggest complaint, because like the video is what it is. Not everybody listens on video, but the audio is the key. Nobody wants to hear you, basically chewing your tongue while you're talking at them for a half hour on a podcast. They don't want to hear every noise falling out of your face. Doesn't make a difference.
Cool. Hey, can you send me that link for a USB microphone? I'm thinking about doing that and get one of those light things. It's a light ring, I think, that people use when they do their social media stuff. So
yeah, I'll send you some stuff. I'm actually going to do an article on it on the website, because the ring lights are actually kind of out now, and there's these new ones out. They're like panels, little puff lights, and it's a little bit more even, and you don't get the weird circles on your glasses or in your eyes or any of that stuff. So there's a bunch of new stuff, but I'll shoot you some links for what I've found that I'm using.
cool. All right, thanks. Anybody else have any goals you want to share quick? If not, we got a deal to talk about. I know that's exciting. So all right, I don't see any hands. So who was it who had the deal, and you want to talk about it, or something you're working on? If you want, Joe, how do you feel? You want to talk about a deal?
Yeah, it's not a problem.
Oh yeah.
Let's do it.
All right.
What's going on, fellas? So I have a lead. It's not a deal yet, but it's a lead that I'm working on over on Walnut Street in the city of Rochester.
Off of J?
I've been
That off
right.
of
It's
J?
between
Okay.
Jay and Campbell. So I've been negotiating with the seller for maybe the last month or so, month and a half. And I got him down about 25 grand so far from his original asking price. But it looks like the numbers are still tight. I've asked around to a few buyers. They aren't interested, but they suggested that I refer to the 1% rule, which I've been hearing that not too many people go by. So I'm just trying to figure out if I have something here that's worthwhile in regards to wholesaling it, or if it's something I should move on from.
Can I ask you a question? I know it's a house, but you haven't told us. Is it a single? Is it a double?
No, it's a duplex.
Is it occupied?
So it's a duplex. It's a one bed, one bath upstairs, and a 3-bed, 1-bath downstairs. The 1-bedroom is occupied at $600 a month right now, and the 3-bedroom had a few updates done to it, like some paint, some little cosmetic stuff, but that's vacant.
So is it separate utilities?
Yes.
So what are you trying to sell it for?
That's what I don't know. There aren't many comps in the area right now, which is what's confusing me, because that's what I would refer to as far as getting the ARV.
Okay, are you trying to wholesale it, or are you trying to actually buy it? Okay, so what's because the reason why I'm asking you this is that I'm trying to figure out here what price you're trying to sell this thing at, because and take this the right way, I need to get more information. Okay, how much work does it need? How is the C of O transferable? Does it need a roof? I mean, what are you thinking here? Because so I got to be a little bit more. I want you to be a little bit more specific on.
So the seller, he had some work done to it. I just walked it a couple days ago. And I realized I noticed that the floors were uneven. So I know that's something that will be concerning if somebody were to do Section 8 and had to get some inspections done. There was backsplash in the kitchen that was unfinished. But besides that, they did some new drywall and some paint. They didn't put many new fixtures in, so I'm not too keen on the cost of repairs these days and materials as well. The roof isn't in bad shape, but there is a tree looming over the house that it drops branches from time to time, and I believe that has possibly had some effect on the roof condition. And I know he's asking. He was originally asking 110. I got him down as of yesterday to 83. And the potential, according to some other buy and hold investors in that area, the potential for the rent is about 1550 total. And I just found out from another investor that CFOs for duplexes are not transferable. So the end buyer will have to go through the process of.
Well, here, not to interrupt you, but they're transferable, but only within that. They're good for 5 years, but only transferable within the first 2. And I'm going to figure out some numbers right now on my calculator here. So keep talking. I apologize. I didn't interrupt you. I just wanted to make sure here.
All right. So the CFO that expires in 2029. Let's see what else here am I missing. Oh, the seller also wants to be able to take care of closing costs. Wants the end buyer to be able to take care of closing costs, and his motivation for selling is to get into some commercial units. He had just recently purchased a property not too long ago for about, I think it was 55 grand. And he's looking to turn around and profit off of it and get into some more investments. But just being in that type of neighborhood, I don't see that property being worth, over 70, but I could be wrong.
Well, first of all, does anybody have anything that I mean, I'm making some observations. I want to hear from other people also. We can all learn from each other, and I want to make some observations. I know that area very, very well. I want to hear.
I'm looking at rentals right now, like for rents on Zillow. It's Walnut Street, right?
Yep,
it is.
So you have a lot of 3-1s listed at 1400, but that one, 36 days. It's listed for rent. It's not rented. It's listed. So that's 36 days. It's been listed at 1400.
Right.
And then there's there are 1300, 1400. There's a 2-1 listed at 1150. That's been there for 36 days. And then there's a 3-1 that's listed at 1200 that was just posted, and that's an updated unit. So I would think that the rents for the 3-1 would be low thousands,
Yeah, I'm at
if that's the
950,
case.
my estimate.
now
And it's good to be conservative with your underwriting.
yeah, and Chris, to add on to that, it's considered a D area.
Right.
And then you also have to, because we don't know what the condition is of this place, what it's going to take. So, because I want to go over some numbers with everybody, but we want to hear from everybody else. And Scott, I want to hear what are you thinking or on this also.
I'm thinking I know the area from when I used to live there, and the fact that houses in that area are going for $110,000 amazes me.
It's not,
that's good
right.
for you guys.
It's not. They don't.
There's actually a couple houses like on Orange Street that sold for over 100 grand, which I think there was a Habitat for Humanity properties.
So he's using the comps from the HUD homes over there, which is low income housing. I know those areas. I used to help build some of those houses. I was working construction. So you are 100% correct on that. With that, and Scott, you are 100% correct on the $110,000 because that guy's using that as a comp. And we're going to go over that, and I'm going to break it down by cap rate, rate of return, and what this place will be making, and how long it will take to make your money back on that. Well, first, I want to hear from Scott. Any advice? I know you're in Key West right now, so so you're a little removed from the area.
What Joe's about to tell you, don't take offense to it. It's just really a learning curve. And I know a lot of times we find that first deal and we're like, man, this is a smoking deal. I'll be able to take this thing and sell it. I did the same thing. And the great thing about Joe is he knows the neighborhoods really well. I don't know how well you know Joe, but he knows the neighborhoods really well. And when you started talking about it, I could see his ears perk up. He probably knows the exact house you're talking about. He's not going to give the address, but he's going to base it on some numbers that he knows. And if I had to value a property in Rochester, Joe would be the number one person I would call. The second person I would call would be Colleen Baracci. And she's a realtor. So it costs me money when I talk to her. Only kidding. No, she made me a lot of money over the years, and I appreciate that. But Joe would be my number one phone call for values of properties in Rochester. So here we go, Joe. And if you're ready, get ready to take notes. It's gonna be fast and furious, and we got 20 minutes, so we're good.
Perfect, for more than enough time. So basically, a couple things here. Number one, it's considered a D area. Now I've done probably 50, 60 properties in that area. Okay.
Explain a D area, Joe.
What?
Explain a D area.
Oh, A area in Rochester would be like East Avenue, Park Avenue, and D area is considered the inner city. So Avenue, you get everywhere from, Avenue D areas, the 1, 2, 3, 1 through 6th Street, 1 through 8th Street area, J Street, those types of areas considered D type areas is what it is. Okay. Yes, you can make great returns there in theory. A lot of people want to be able to make double-digit returns on those areas. Now, here's the thing. Typically, you're going to be somewhere, depending on numbers, $60,000 to $80,000, depending on what the situation is with that property. That is 100% turnkey. So you thinking that it wasn't worth $110,000, you were 100% correct. Okay. He was probably using those HUD homes that you were talking about as a comp, which you cannot. One of the things that I look at is how long it's going to take to repair how long does the roof have left? Are the windows vinyl? By the way, are the windows vinyl or are they wood windows?
They're vinyl, but they're old. Like they have like a yellow film over it that looks like some old stuff.
So to do the math, $8,000 to $10,000 for a roof, $300 per window. You can do the math. One of the things with the wavy floors you got to look at is there an issue with the foundations? You go downstairs, you look for cracks, but let's just say none of that's there. Okay, we're going to go strictly by numbers here. All right. So what I did was we're going to use your numbers. Make your minimums, your maximums on this. Again, make your minimums, your maximums. I'm trying to figure stuff out. Okay. So what I did was I took 1,550 and I multiplied that by 12, which is $18,600 a year. I don't know if everybody can see that, but it comes out to be $18,600 a year. In those areas for expenses, and you figure management and everything else, vacancies, you're going to figure 50% of that is going to be gone. That's if you pay cash. That's if you pay cash. You're going to make $18,600 a year gross. So just divide that by 2. Okay. That's going to leave you $9,300 left over per month. Per year. Now, let's just say if somebody wanted to buy this, and this is turnkey, that means C of O, good roof, good windows, good tenants, needs nothing. So let's just say you end up selling this. Between 60 and 80. Let's just say it's going to be $70,000 purchase price for your end buyer. Okay, 70,000. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 9,300. All right, and we're going to divide that by $70,000, which comes out to 0.132857, blah, blah, blah. Basically, it's a 13.3% return on your money. That means every year you'll be making somewhere around 13% return on your money, in theory. Okay? Most people in those areas that I deal with want to be way up in the double-digit cap rates over there. And that is turnkey. That is assuming this house has good roof, good windows, fully occupied. Just go in, here's the keys. Thank you very much. I pay you $70,000. This guy bought this place for $55,000, and he has every right to make as much money as he can on it. Me personally, if I'm gonna wholesale a deal over there, a 2-family, I wouldn't pay more than between $25,000 and $35,000 for a 2-family over there. And that, and again, that's my opinion. Don't take what I say as gospel, because I'm thinking, okay, I still have to get a C of O. I don't know how much time's left on the roof, so I'm going to figure I got to do something to that roof. So if somebody wants to buy that, let's just say you get that for $30,000, and let's just say you wholesale it to them for $35,000, which means you're making $5,000. Their closing cost is going to put them right around $38,000 to $39,000. And then let's just say they got to put in, let's just say they got to do a make ready, and the make ready, let's just say they put in another, let's just say they put in $15,000. That includes both apartments, that includes a C of O, not including a roof that's inside, outside. You're going to be at $38,000. You're going to be at around $53,000 all day long. Okay. If you put in a roof, you're going to be well over $65,000 to $70,000. So there's not a lot of incentive to pay for that house any more than that. You got to be able to leave some meat on there. I tell people, leave enough meat on the bone to choke a dinosaur, the dinosaur's family, and the in-laws to be able to attract their attention. Okay. And once people see that, now you right off the bat knew 1% doubt, you're out. You were like 15, 20%, because you knew the guy paid $55,000 and there's no one's going to pay $110,000. And by the way, 3 bedrooms and 1 bedrooms, the 1 bedrooms aren't always as popular. Okay. And the reason why I asked you if it's separate utilities, typically when there's a 1 bedroom, the first thing I ask is a separated utilities. That's definitely a single family house that was converted into a 2-family. And a lot of the 1 bedrooms have one furnace, 1 hot water tank, and 1 electrical panel box. But this is separated from what you told me. Okay. Now, I'm not telling you to not do the deal, but for me, I'd have to be somewhere between $25,000 and $35,000. By the way, now your camera's sideways. So there you go. So, I mean, that's for me, because if you're making $9,300 realistically in that area there, I've got people who would pay probably around $60,000 to $80,000 would be maximum, but it'd have to be turnkey. And this is not. How much money do you think you'd have to put into this property?
I think $15K would be a sufficient amount to get it ready to, move in ready, okay. Especially that 3rd family, because like I said, the 1 bedroom is already occupied at $600 a month. But seeing as though it's a 1 bedroom, that'll probably be a high turnover rate.
So let's figure this. So at $9,300, right, a year. Now at $70,000, okay. At $70,000, whoever buys this for $70,000, if they're making $9,300 a year return, as long as nothing breaks, nothing changes, nobody moves out, and everything stays perfectly the same, which you and I know will never happen. Okay, if he's into it for $70,000, it's going to take him about 7 years and change to make his money back, a little under 8 years. Which means he'll start making his money back if he buys it today in the year 2032. Okay. That's the way I look at it. Now, using that guy's number, you got him down to $80,000, right?
Right.
So let's use his numbers. $80,000. Let's just say you want to make 5, you're at $85,000. Then, closing costs will put him at $89,000. 15 on top of that will put him at $104,000. And so let's take all the same numbers of $9,300. So you take $9,300 and divide that by $104,000. He's going to make an 8.9%, almost a 9% return on his money, if he's lucky. And that's if everything stays perfect and it does not need a roof. Which in those areas, most people are looking for double-digit returns. because typically in those areas, you don't make, it doesn't always go the way you planned it in theory when it comes to those types of areas. And I'm not trying to sway the deal on you. I'm just, this is for me. I want other people to, I mean, what are other people doing in those areas? I want to know.
Section 8's popular over there, right? Would you approach it as if you were going to, the repair cost would be to get it to Section 8 standards?
Yes, for me, I would.
I think that's the best option.
Yeah. And then what's it going to take to get it there?
He's an investor,
Right.
so I mean, if you get some accurate comps and repair costs, like I mean, he's an investor, so he can't disagree with you.
Right.
Wow.
And that's what I did. I've already submitted an offer to him yesterday at 68 grand. But you know, he was adamant because, like I said, originally he wanted 110. When I first got in contact with him, he was at 110. And we talked about some other properties that he had, and you know, I finally had a chance to walk through this one, the main subject property, and you know, we did a little bit more negotiating, got him down to 80, 85, and made my offer at 68. He came down to 80. So I'm probably going to tell him today, like, I'm just going to move on because I'm not trying to force the deal.
So let me ask you a question. What kind of response have you been getting from your other potential buyers that you're bringing this to? What are they telling you?
So aside from the area being, you know, not the best, being a rough neighborhood, people are, like I said, had a few buyers say that the C of O wasn't transferable for duplexes. And then I had another buyer. Yeah, it was the area.
What about price? What did you tell them? Like 90 or something?
Yeah, originally it was 90 that I was trying to see if they would be interested at. And they came back around like, you know, maybe I would take a second look around 70 to 75. But then when I, you know, trying to negotiate with the seller, he's like, yo, I would like the closing costs to be taken care of as well. So I just told him, like, you know, after walking through the property and, you know, noticing all the little details and what might need to be done as far as renovations goes, that price is going to be too high. So I'm probably not the best solution. I would suggest you get in contact with a realtor to put it on the market and see what you can get.
No. Was he trying to sell it himself previously to you calling him?
Yeah, this was a pay-per-click lead.
Okay.
It was a pay-per-click lead. He was looking for a cash offer.
So one of the things I like to find out is how long have they been trying to sell it for? Okay. And you know, for me, what I say, look, and this is why, because I leave it open, I say, look, at these numbers, I'm trying to make it work and I can't. So either I'm not your buyer that you're looking for, and or you need to help me try to make these numbers work. And some of these people will try to work with you, and some of them, they just don't care. They're adamant about their number, and it is what it is, and that's okay. Amateurs, convinced professionals, we sort for the best deal as fast as possible. I'm not telling you to throw them down the curve, down the road, because T and C, time and circumstances, have not hit this guy yet. And he may want to sell, but does not really need to sell. Okay. And sometimes what I've done too, and I've done it very nicely and very graciously and very kiddingly, I say, you know, I don't think you want to sell this property. And they're like, yeah, I do. I go, no, I don't think you do. I think subconsciously you are really attached to this property. You must have a really big emotional attachment to this property. No, I don't. You must. You have to. You know, and then I get them to start thinking, start relaxing a little bit. They'll start to laugh. I say, listen, you must have been born there. You just must have a family connection, something. I'll say to them something to that fact, just to be able to break the ice and let them know that. I go, because subconsciously at this price, you know, it's very difficult for someone to come in there and buy this without being completely upside down. Okay, but you got to say it very nicely, very graciously, not in a combative way.
Right. I get that. Yeah, that makes sense. I appreciate the insight.
And by the way, don't just kill the deal because of what we just said here.
Well, I mean, being honest, I'm not able to find buyers who are interested in it. So it's probably looking like if he's not willing to come down to, I mean, a considerable amount, I'm just going to move on because it's taking up too much time from other leads that I have. So,
And by the way, he wants to buy another property, right?
yeah, his motivation is getting it. So there are two properties that he's looking to get rid of. And one of them has a squatter in it. And I had to let that one sit and wait for a while, probably till the end of February, I believe the foreclosure process, the eviction process starts in the court system. But this property he's looking to get rid of to get the funds to get into commercial investing. So I don't know how motivated he is.
Do you know if he paid cash for that property, that $55,000?
Yeah, he paid cash.
So right now that place is sitting losing money. So if he's a numbers oriented person, I'd be like, listen, I understand you want to make $85,000 at the same time. Your $55,000 right now is losing money. You could take that $55,000, either put that down as a down payment toward that commercial property before somebody loses it, or you can hold on to it right now. It's sitting here. You're in the negative and you're losing money. You are hemorrhaging right now. And then when I say to them, I go, listen, you want me to drive you over to the hospital because we need to put a tourniquet on you because you're hemorrhaging money right now. I said that to people and they start laughing. You got to be nice when you say that. Say you must have a lot of blood in your body to be able to handle holding on to this property right now. Not only are you hemorrhaging, you're also having $55,000. It's just going down, 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 down.
Yeah.
I kind of put that in it because I don't know if he's a numbers oriented person, but I do that. And I've also told people, I said, listen, if I sign this deal, I'm going to have to do it at the hospital parking lot. And they're like confused. And they go, because when I sign this, I'm going to start hemorrhaging money. They're going to have to take me in right away and put a tourniquet on me. I'll be sitting right next to you on the gurney, but you'll be released and I'll be there taking your place. But say that to him in a very nice way. Okay.
100%. Yeah. Thank you.
Let us know. I want to know what happens with that.
All right. I'll keep you posted.
Anybody have anything to add on to that, by the way? Observations, anything?
Yeah, me too. I appreciate it. It was good. And if you'll join us back in 2 weeks, I having a meeting at Ferrari's Pizza, right, Joe?
Yep, live and in person.
Live and in person. If you come back, report back, just let us know how you made out with that. We'd appreciate that. If you can't make that meeting, if you can make the February Zoom, we'd definitely be interested to hear how you made out with it. Just kind of a learning experience for everybody. Yeah. So very cool.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Hey guys, I have a question. I know we kind of ran out of time here, but I just want to know, is there, thinking about looking at a multi-family commercial, like a 6-family home. So I guess this would be more considered a commercial family being 6 case, or be commercial property being 6 case. What should I be looking for? And I guess maybe how do I go about getting that? I'm just wondering, is there like some sort of checklist or things I can look for? I know time is running out. If you feel I don't have time, I don't know if I could give one of you guys a call. And if you have the time for that, maybe 5 minutes or so. Quick rundown.
I mean, are you looking at one right now, you mean, or you want a checklist from when you go inside of one?
I guess I would need a checklist for when I go inside. I mean, I saw something that I would like to consider, but I'm just wondering, especially being this commercial property, what should I really be looking for there?
Real quickly, if it's a flat roof, when was the last done? Is it a pitched roof? How old is the C of O? Who's not paying? Who is paying? Breakdown of the units. I talked to them over the phone. Okay, how many are 2 bedrooms? How many are 1 bedrooms? Because that way we can break it down price per unit. What are the current rents? If it's commercial, okay, who's renting it? And is it the owner that runs that commercial property? You know, and if they sell it, are they moving out? Which means you have a vacancy. I mean, it's pretty, everything else can be pretty normal. Is it separate utilities? Is it zoned for that? You know, is it commercial? Okay, when do the leases end? Are the people there right now on, you know, are they on, you know, in the area? I mean, it's the same thing like you do with a single family house. But, you know, you're just gonna expand it. I mean, and there's nothing that's, it's not, you know, you're gonna have to tailor it. When you go there, you're gonna have to look at stuff. You know, I mean, sizes of the rooms, sizes of the bedrooms, you know, the types of people that are there, the quality. I mean, you've been doing this a while. You're pretty smart. You'll be able to figure that out. And you're more than welcome to call us too. You know that. We'll pick up the phone for you, Leslie. No problem, not a problem at all.
Okay. Well, I mean, this is, let's say it's a fully rented unit. I mean, I'm not going to be able to get in to see all the units.
Well, get into 2 or 3 of them. Make the offer contingent upon doing a full walkthrough if they accept your offer. You can definitely get into the basement. You can definitely take a look at the roof, definitely get whatever else. Take a look at the expenses. What are the expenses? You know? And then another thing that I look at, what's he trying to sell it for and what's it assessed for? Then your taxes are going to go up.
Yep. Well, it's commercial, right? So the bank, if you're looking for a loan, they're going to look at what your NOI is. And if the building's any older than like 2015, your expenses are probably going to be at 50%. So you just have to figure, if they hand you, you know, a piece of paper detailing what the expense and income is, and it looks like they're running it at like a 40% or a 30% of your gross, something's not right. They're putting money somewhere, they're hiding stuff, they're just letting the property deteriorate through deferred maintenance. There's a lot of just red flags to watch for that you won't see on a single family. When you're looking at the actual like NOI, you can actually real quick, if the building's older, because it's Rochester, I mean, if it's 60s, 70s build and they're not dumping 50% in and it hasn't had a refresh in the last 5 years, that's an immediate red flag for pretty much any property older than, at this point, 2005.
You know, and I see people parking lots, they don't put in for snow plowing or for grass cutting or anything like that, or they put in 5% for management. No management company is going to do it for 5%. It's 10%. I see that all the time. Well,
and it's usually a little more than 10% because of first year placement fees and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh.
Okay. All right, thanks. Actually, I've talked to some of the management companies. Are they now charging when the tenant renews their lease?
Not that I know of. I
no, not for renewals. Just on having to find a tenant, and usually they charge extra when they have, because they're going to charge you to do the refresh or the make ready, and then they're going to charge you a placement fee to do all the background checks and all that crap. And then the good ones will put that 1 year tenant guarantee in there, so they're going to guarantee your income for the first year that tenant's been placed. So you know, your first year of placing a new tenant, if you've been paying 8% or 10%, you'll probably pay like 14 or 16% for that unit for that year.
And this is all you can talk to at the landlord tenant meeting that they're going to be doing end of this month at Ferrari's, live and in person.
Okay, yeah, I'll try to get that. I haven't been able to make it to those lately.
Get there. All right, I know it's 25 to 11 here, so.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, thank you guys.
Thanks everybody for joining. I appreciate it. I'm actually going to sign out. I don't know if Joe can hang for a bit, but thanks. And thank you very much, Chris, Gabe, and Andy. Thanks for sharing your goals for 2024. That was awesome. And Joe will meet up with you guys in 2 weeks at Ferrari's. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
A couple more minutes, and that's about it. And then just to make sure everyone's got any questions, The live meeting is going to be in 2 weeks at Ferrari's. Check the website. That's going to be at 6. Starts at 7. Usually get there about 6:45-ish. East Rochester, Ferrari's, and then I don't know what is next. Andy, do you know what next week's live meeting or actually in person main meeting is going to be?
It is. I think it's Daquan talking about private lending, private financing, how they structure deals and do DSCRs and that kind of stuff over at Quickline. I think it's his meeting this month.
Perfect. Want to know how to get money? Show up. That's going to be next week. I think it starts at 5. Networking is till about 7. That's when he starts talking. It ends about 7:45, and there would be tons of networking. And it's a heck of a way to kick off the year because they're going to talk about getting money. So,
yep. And
right?
Quickline's doing some decent business now with FRIA members. So it's not a bad thing. They're apparently putting their money where their mouth is. So
awesome. All right.
Hey, Gabe, I have a question for you real quick, man, before we go.
Go ahead.
You ever thought about documenting your journey with investing in storage facilities? This is for Gabe, by the way.
Document.
I'm really interested in learning about what you do, like how you analyze the deals. I just found out about a website called Crexy with commercial deals. So I was looking at a lot of the deals here in Rochester, the storage facilities, and I thought about you. This is literally like yesterday evening. I thought about you, but I don't know anything about it. So it just cross my mind as something that you could possibly keep you more accountable or to help you be more accountable for yourself, to like document, how you do what you do and making your calls and things of that nature.
That's very interesting that you brought that up because this summer and every time I see him now, because he reminds me, Barrington Nelson tells me, you got to write a book. I'm like, just like me, I'm like, what? He's like, that way, if you write a book of how you document everything you do, you sell the book, and you don't have to do any coaching like that. You document everything too. So I haven't really considered it, but just funny how you brought that up because Barrington's, every time I see now, Dre, your book yet? I'm like, leave me alone. Stop. Like, but yeah, it's something I need to look into once I get past these goals. But if anything, Barrington's keeping me accountable, but to do something. But it's in truth, it's not a bad idea to document it. And at the same time, I could also reflect on, okay, what have I done here? And I can read back and say, okay, what can I do better next time? And what have you. In addition, just my own personal growth as well. So yeah, there's some things that I should definitely consider. So, and I'll
just wondering
on my team.
I know. All
right, guys. Listen, go do some real estate. Actually, go do a lot of real estate. Yeah. Thanks everybody for getting on this morning. I appreciate it. Have a great day. All right.
Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.